Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dante, and yeah, in my last video I told you guys that I got the Fuji X-T3. I actually had my Canon EOS 80D and I actually swapped it out for this guy right here. Yeah, the Fuji X-T3 is such an amazing camera. I got this guy right here because of its video capabilities. I actually bought it to assist my A6500, which I'm filming on right now. And yeah, it's actually a very great camera. When I got this camera at first, I was actually very confused because I didn't know how to use it. I've never used Fuji before, so I just got it and I was actually very confused with the dials. It is very weird, you know, like normal cameras, when you just dig into the settings and on the display menu you can see like your ISO and everything for your exposure just down there, but here you have to use these dials and it was really weird and it really took me time to get used to it. But yeah, I pulled through and I'm very used to it now, and I think I know my way around this camera. So far it's actually a very great camera. So today, this is gonna be a mini review for this camera. So this camera, it's actually a very good camera. It's an APS-C size sensor, same as my A6500. I actually like the small form factor of this camera. It's actually very small. It can fit into my backpack very easily, and it adds no weight to it. Compared to the GH5, it doesn't have exposure features like waveforms and false colors and all those things. It doesn't have it in camera. So today I'm gonna tell you the strengths and weaknesses of this camera that I know so far since I bought it and since I've been using it. Let's start with the things I like about this camera. As I said before, I like the small form factor, the way like it's so small and portable, like I can just throw it in my bag and just leave, you know. The second thing I like about this camera is the dials. At first I said it was weird. It was actually weird. I wasn't used to it at all, but now that I'm used to it, it is actually very easy. Like you just want to change your ISO, you just tap, you turn the dial. You want to change it to movie mode, you just turn the dial. You want to, anything you want to do, your metering moods right here, you just turn the dial, spot metering, and everything is just right here on the dial. So shutter speed right here on the dial. And that's the second thing I like about this camera. The third thing I like about this camera is all the buttons are customizable, like nearly all the buttons. Like everything, you can customize basically everything. Like it's really cool. Like I just like it. Like it makes everything easy. Unlike the A6500, it actually comes like with my menu option. That like the A73, it has my menu option. It comes with that. So like instead of digging through the menu, you can just like put some things right there that you know you're gonna need, like things you use frequently. Like you can just put them right there. And yeah, that's actually very helpful because like once I open the camera, I just know where to go to like do my things. Another thing about this camera that I like the design. The design is actually good. I like that you can take off the door, the compartment door, the door that closes the ports and everything, the port door. I like the fact that you can take it off. I don't want to take it off now. Then into like the inside of the camera, like what's inside. Like I like the fact that you can shoot 4K at 60 frames per second. Though it's only a 20-minute time period, like only a 20-minute limit to the 4K at 60 frames. I like the fact you can do that. You can shoot like normal 4K at about 400 megabits per second, 400 megabits, and that's like a lot of data. That's a lot of data to work with. And you can also shoot DCI 4K at 200 megabits, I think, and 4K also DCI. I think it's in features and video, like in frame rates and things you can do, I think it's a little bit better than the GH5. But as I said before, the GH5 has like a lot of like filmmaking exposure tools. Like you don't have to get like an external monitor for it. Like, but this I think you have to. So that's why I got the small HD focus. So like the small HD and this is like it's a very badass combo. A very badass combo, because like in the small HD I have like my waveforms, I have my histograms, I have everything I need. I actually have it in the small HD. So this in the small HD, it is bomb, and if you're getting this camera, just get the small HD because you can also charge your camera with it. Another thing I like about this camera is it has two card slots. So I have like one in my first card slot, I have like a 128 gig, and my second one is 32 gig. So it's had to run out of space. It's not that hard though, because this camera, it produces like big files, like big chunks of files. Like the files are actually very big, like DCI 4K. Like a small 3-minute clip could be like 3 gig, 4 gigs. So another thing I like about this camera is the screen resolution and the viewfinder resolution. Like it is actually top notch, like compared to the A6500 that I've been using. So after this segment, I'm gonna run out right now and grab like a couple clips of the 4K video quality of the X-T3 and show you guys how it looks and everything. Like when it grazes, I'm gonna show you guys F-log and everything. Over to the things I don't like about this camera. Now, this camera, I hate the grip. Like when I bought the camera first, if you watch my first video, the grip was the first thing I complained of, because the grip is so small. It's so till now I don't know. Like I think I'm used to it a little, but like I can basically still drop this camera mistakenly, and that would be very sad. The second thing I hate about this camera is the battery life. The battery life is so bad. It's not as bad as the A6500 though, but like it is actually bad. Like I thought that like it would last for long, but it's not even average. It is below average. Like it's bad. In this review, if I say something that's wrong or you guys don't agree with, just write it in the comment down below, because I'm actually new to Fuji too. I'm actually a starting out filmmaker, so if I get anything wrong, please, I'm not quoting specs for you guys, I'm not reading specs off the internet for you guys. I'm just telling you guys what I've seen so far with this camera, what I've used it to do, and I'm just telling you guys, like, I'm speaking my mind about this camera. So another thing I hate about this camera is that it doesn't have in-body image stabilization. But the lenses, Fuji lenses, most of them have in-body image stabilization. Most of them have IS. It's called IS, sorry. Since it didn't have stabilization, I actually got the Zion crane, the Crane Plus right here. I don't know if you can see it, like, you know, my backpack's right there. I don't want to take it out. So I got the Crane Plus to fight that, plus my friend also owns the Ronin M, so like I could just borrow it from him like anytime I want. So basically I shoot on gimbals like most of the time. Another thing I don't like about this camera is the fact that it doesn't have waveforms, false colors, and all of the things. It has zebras though. Zebras, they're actually really good and essential. It has zebras are really good, and it has a histogram. Histograms are they're just there. They're average. They don't give you that pinpoint accuracy of your exposure. So you need a monitor to be able to check your false colors and your waveform and all those things, because all those things are really essential. Like if you don't have those things, like you need to start shooting with those things. Like you're gonna see a change when you shoot with like all the exposure tools rather than like when you don't shoot with exposure tools. For things I don't like, I think that's all, because this camera is actually a very great camera, and I don't see what is not to like about this camera. Like, I like basically everything. Like, I actually really like it. I'm using it with a kit lens right now. I don't want to buy another lens yet. Yeah, so I'm gonna head out now, and yeah, see you guys at the next segment of this video. Peace. Alright guys, so welcome back to this segment. So now I'm here with my friend Isaac. So now we are gonna test the autofocus of the Fuji Film X-T3, and we're gonna compare it to the autofocus of the Sony A6500, and we're gonna see how the both of them are gonna compete with each other, because the X-T3, the autofocus was improved from the X-T2, and it's pretty good because it has like eye autofocus and in video, and that's really great. So I want to see how it's gonna stack up with the Sony A6500. So let's see how it goes. So he's gonna be my test subject, and yeah, I'm gonna track him, and yeah, so let's go. Alright, so this is S-Log at 800 ISO, the native ISO, and 4K 24 frames per second at the 1.4 f-stop with ND filters at 6 stops because the day is very sunny. So the autofocus, it looks pretty good. This is the Sigma 16 1.4, and it looks pretty good, and it's not even a native lens, so it's pretty good. So walk back, like go back to like the tree, go, still keeping him in focus. He's still in focus. This is actually a very wide angle lens, so it's still keeping him in focus. Alright, now walk front slowly. It's tracking him. It's doing a good job at tracking him. It's really tracking him. And this is S-Log. So we are gonna use this footage to still see how S-Log grades compared to the Fuji Film F-Log. So come closer. Alright, come. Stop. Okay, while he was coming closer, it did a little bit of hunting, but it's not that bad. Go back a little. Alright, now move out, move, like out of the frame. Yeah, move. Alright, now come back in. Like, come back in right to the middle. Alright, yeah, it hunted a little for his face, but he eventually got it. It was pretty fast. And yeah, the autofocus on the A6500 is pretty good. We all know that, so it's pretty good. So I'm gonna switch over to the Fuji Film now. So now this is the Fuji Film's F-Log with face tracking and eye tracking. This is with face tracking and eye tracking turned on. So let's see how it does compared to the A6500. And here we have like changing lighting conditions. So I'm gonna have to take the ND filter down by a stop, and yeah, so move back, back to like, so it keeps tracking him, like even when he's far and it can like the camera can recognize his face, it keeps tracking him. He's still in focus. So come slowly. Alright, yeah. Keeps tracking him. He's doing a, yeah, and then he grabs his eyes, and yeah, he's in focus now.
And yeah, um, we're definitely overexposed by a little bit here because the sun came out again. So I have to take the ND. I have to take the. I have to put the ND filter up by stop again. So yeah, we're correctly exposed right now. I can see it. I can see it in my false color monitor, and I'm using the 18 to 55 millimeters lens, so I'm at the wide end at 18 millimeters, and yeah, it's doing a good job tracking his face. I use the 18 millimeters because it is the closest lens I have, the closest focal length I have to the 16 Sigma 1.4, and yeah, it keeps tracking him. So move sideways out of the frame, move, move, and yeah, come back in. So as he comes in, it grabs his face automatically, and yeah. Right now, I think the Fuji performance is actually better than the Sony, but then again, I think it's because we didn't use a native Sony lens. I use Sigma lens, so who knows? Maybe if we use a normal Sony lens, maybe it would actually be fast or as fast as this. So now I'm gonna turn eye autofocus off right now. Um, I'm gonna turn it off and let's see how it's gonna track it. So this is with eye autofocus turned off. So move back. It's still tracking him. He's still being tracked. He's still being tracked. Now come front, come front. Um, the camera doesn't lose focus of him. He's still being tracked perfectly. And move out of the frame. Move back in. Yeah, he's still being tracked perfectly. So the autofocus on the Fuji it actually performs better than the Sony, though I don't know if it's because of the adapted lens that I'm using. And then in post, we're gonna grade this video and we're gonna see how F-Log grades compared to S-Log. And yeah, I'm perfectly exposed here, like I can see it in my false color monitor, and I'm perfectly exposed, and so we are gonna figure out the rest in post. And yeah, that's it. Alright guys, so that's all the comparison for today. I'm actually gonna do more tests on the Fuji X-T3 and I'm gonna give you guys more information. And yeah, so far this camera is actually a very great camera. I actually like it. There are more things to like about the camera than and there are less things to hate about the camera because it's actually a fantastic camera. Just for the disadvantages that I mentioned, you can easily get around them. You can get extra batteries, you could get the battery grip to give you more power, you can get an external monitor, and yeah, and once you get all those things, you won't have any other problem with this camera. It's actually a very great camera. So I think this is what I'm gonna be using now. It's gonna be like my main camera, and then like the A6500 is gonna be like my B camera, because I actually so yeah, and soon I'm working on like a music video soon, and yeah, I'm gonna drop it. And when I drop it, I'm gonna film it with the Fuji, and you guys are gonna see like how like everything goes, like the low light and everything, because it's gonna be like some low light scenes in the music video and everything. So yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. If I in any way helped you or gave you like some information that made you decide on this camera, or maybe made you like this camera or buy this camera, please just leave a like and subscribe. So just subscribe to the channel, and yeah, you're not gonna miss out. So peace, you guys. Gonna see you next time. Peace.